So guys, welcome to another episode of Pa, or Paul's Asian Adventure, but not Grandpa. So in this episode, I wanted to talk about why we have made a final decision to leave Duma. We're going to talk about the positives and negatives of Duma and the surrounding areas such as Bakong, Valencia, Darwin. I'll just call it Duma, and the advantages of being there and the disadvantages and what city we are currently looking at, and that will be towards the end. So some of the advantages of Duma, what would you say they are? Yeah.
First and foremost, the social life.
The social life for the foreigners.
Foreigners, yes.
Yeah. Because there are a lot of retired people there.
Yeah, so if you're a foreigner that comes to the Philippines and you are wanting to explore other areas and want to know what to do, what not to do, the places that you want to go to, you can always talk to foreigners, and most of the time they have meetups. Like Paul goes to this Norwegian meeting.
Used to.
It's
been a few months, yeah.
And people just share all their experiences.
Yeah.
In every city
you
that they
get
go to.
really good advice.
Yes.
From the foreigners, what to do, what not to do, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, there's Norwegian meetups, but I think there's American meetups, I think there's Canadian meetups, there's all kinds of meetups.
Yeah.
What else would you say is good about Duma and the surrounding areas? The restaurants. For such a small town, it's not that small, but for a small town, they have a lot of restaurants.
Yeah. You can find good restaurants.
Yeah.
Before it was like, with foreigners coming in, there's advantage and disadvantage. The advantage of that is that the good food,
the quality of
food
goes up.
Yes.
Because they demand better food, right? So
yeah, because
restaurants will cater to that if they want the foreigner crowd, right?
Yeah.
So we have
foreigners. Filipinos, we're not confrontational. If we do not like the food, we just say, "Oh, it's good. It's really good."
Yeah.
And then just the restaurant will just serve that food because he said it's good. But for foreigners, and I've experienced this firsthand, being married to a foreigner, you remember that French restaurant?
Oh, yes.
That we went to.
Which is an upscale restaurant.
Yes.
In Duma.
For price itself and the setting. It's really upscale. So we went there. We expected good food, right?
I had a hummus.
He had a hummus because he missed that. And we just came back from Saudi that time as well. And so we went there, and what can you say about that?
Well, we ate the food, but the hummus was, for lack of other words, terrible. And the server asked me at the end, "How's your food?"
Yeah.
And I just told her it was terrible.
Yeah.
And the look on her face, remember? It's like, "Oh,
let me just get this."
Let me just get this.
Like, being a Filipino myself, I actually felt bad.
Yeah.
Like,
but I mean, that's the way I look at it. Is if you're honest with people and tell them the food is bad, at least they have the opportunity to do something about it, where they won't lose any more customers. Because it took 6 months before we went back, and the only reason we went back is some of our friends wanted to go there.
Yeah.
So we went with them, and then the second experience was better.
Yes, right? It was actually better.
Yeah. So, but I didn't order the hummus the second time around. I ordered something else. I don't remember what. But yeah. So the restaurants are really good for the most part. They're still a bit inconsistent. You can go to one restaurant, you get good food one day and bad food the other day. I don't know what that's all about, but it's much better than before. They have a lot of coffee shops now. The other advantage is they have more gyms now, and they have some great gyms too. Anytime Fitness is now in Duma.
Up and coming, I think, or they're still
No,
building it?
it's there. In Duma. They have that gym up in Valencia, like halfway between Valencia and TM Fitness, which is a great gym. So there's a lot to like about Duma. But there are things there that, to me, is like, what do you call that? Like a breaking point where I'm not gonna live there because of this
Yeah, like
specific reasons.
enough is enough.
And the specific reason there is the driving culture. The driving culture in Dumaguete and the surrounding areas is horrific. There are so many accidents, and we see it on a weekly basis. And for example, we sometimes go to the French Cafe, which is right beside the Bakong Highway, and if we sit there 45 minutes, we'll see at least 3 to 5 ambulances going by. In the city we're in now, we've been here about a week, and we've seen what, maybe 5 ambulances altogether?
No, less than
3 to 4.
3 to 4.
So we haven't seen any accidents so far,
No,
and we've been out and about quite a bit.
almost
So-
every day.
Every day. So that's one of the things I just, to me, was like, I can't take a chance on this anymore. One day it's going to go wrong,
Yeah.
and you're going to end up in the hospital or dead or major life-changing injury. And I just don't want that. I don't want to take that chance. I mean, Dumaguete is nice, but it's not that nice. I don't want to take a chance on my life. And I'm telling you guys, the driving there is horrible. I mean, it's really horrible. Now, the other thing that, to me, it comes with also driving, there are so many stray dogs there. It's just gotten worse. I mean, stray dogs everywhere. And you'll be doing 40, 50 kilometers, and a dog suddenly goes over the road. And if you hit that dog, you're going down.
Yeah.
Now, some people might ask, why don't you buy a car? Which actually I was going to buy a car. But you have to understand the traffic in Dumaguete and Valencia and the area around there is horrific. If you have a car, you're stuck for a long time. There's really not enough parking anywhere. People are parked on all sides of the roads. There's just too many cars for the city of Dumaguete and the surrounding areas. It just doesn't work because there's not enough road, there's not enough parking. So things are becoming really, really bad, and people driving cars, SUVs, are getting very frustrated and taking big chances that, will probably not hurt them, but could kill people on motorbikes. Anyway, and I love driving motorbikes. I'm not going to give that up. So that's another thing that to me was like, you know what, I've had enough of this. The straw that broke the camel's back, for lack of other words. Another thing that I knew about and I could do something about was the pollution. I bought a mask, with a fan and a HEPA filter and everything when I'm driving, so that was fine. I also have a HEPA filter at home that cleaned the air, so that was okay. But still, the dust, the pollution is really bad. And the noise level is really bad also because everybody drives with these...
Muffler?
because I want it to sound like a 1200 and it's a 125, right?
Yeah.
And it's really bad. The scooters at night without lights. It's just a bad situation overall. And I don't want to sound really down on Dumaguete because, like I said, Dumaguete has a lot of good things. It's very central. You got the buses, you got the boats to Cebu, to Bohol, you got the airport, you got beautiful nature 30 minutes away.
Yeah.
You got Valencia, up in the Valencia. I mean, you've seen some of our walk and talks. You've seen how beautiful it is there. I'm going to really miss all that. But the other things I talked about, to me, were more important than the pluses because it goes on life and limb of myself and Mia when we are driving. So for that reason, I've decided that we are going to find a different place. And we have been exploring. Just started the exploration. It's 2025, so we are exploring. And the first city we are in has great restaurants, good infrastructure. And we've only been here about a week, so we don't know about brownouts yet, but from what I've heard, hardly ever any brownouts. It has great malls, equivalent to Cebu, if not better.
Yeah.
The driving culture is great here. They have 4 lanes almost everywhere, and the back roads like we did today with the Grab. Oh yeah, they also have Grab here for cheap.
Yeah.
They have electric buses and
Electric trikes.
electric trikes. So everything so far has looked really good. And so this is a city that is going to be at the top of our list. And the city is
Bacolod.
Bacolod.
The city of smiles.
And
That's what they call it.
is it?
Yeah.
We're also going to be looking at Ilo, because that's just a 90-minute ferry. But before that, by the time you see this video, let me say this, we won't be here anymore because we're leaving. By the time this video comes out, we're
out.
We're out.
We'll move on to another city.
Yes. We're actually going forward and backwards to Duma because, like I mentioned in some other videos, my friend has a couple of rentals.
Yeah.
I'm taking care of renovation. So I have to go back once in a while just to make sure everything's getting done that's supposed to get done. So yes, we have really enjoyed the city of Bacolod. We have been to some fantastic restaurants, better than Dumaguete.
For a cheap price. Like
some of them were cheap. The one we
Yeah.
went to yesterday was kind of expensive.
It was. But it was good.
It was very good,
Really good.
but I thought the price to goodness ratio wasn't quite there. So I don't know if I'll go back.
Okay.
But the one we went for lunch today was fantastic at
Yeah.
a really great price. There are so many restaurants here. We went to Burger King and I had a burger. It tasted just like I was back in the US.
There will be a video on that on top.
Yeah. You guys know I'm always looking for a good burger. Not quite Five Guys burger, but Burger King is good. So
Another
I know I'm
thing-
health conscious, but once in a while I'll have a burger, fries, and a Coke. You know, that's just life. You gotta enjoy it a bit too, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of Bacolod has been. I've been impressed. I've been here before. Mia's is your second time. The first time you didn't like it much, but that was during the pandemic. A lot of stuff was closed. They didn't have the electric buses. They didn't have Grab and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It was a different time.
Another thing that you didn't mention here in Bacolod is that they have walkways
Walkways, yeah, everywhere. You can walk.
everywhere.
Like yesterday, we walked to
City Hardware.
City Hardware, which was almost 2 kilometers, right?
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong, it's not KL,
No.
but it's a lot better than Dumaguete
Yeah.
and the surrounding areas, you know? I mean, there's a couple of spots where we had to walk quickly on the road and then get
Yeah.
back on.
Yeah,
and-
but
it's good. And the good thing about Bacolod, it's getting better. You talk to people here, there's a lot of improvement. They're really putting money, investing into the electric grid system, putting it underground. They are investing in electrical buses. So they are really trying to make the city a better place. Well, I feel in Duma, maybe they're trying, but I don't see the results. The only thing I see in Dumaguete is the boulevard improving. I mean, I don't mean to put Dumaguete down or nothing, but that's just the truth of it. So the other thing I want to talk about, there's a lot of vloggers in Dumaguete. That's not the reason we're leaving, but
the clash of vloggers.
No, it's got nothing to do with that. I think a lot of people get this rosy feeling, tinted glasses about Dumaguete because everybody's talking about the wonderful things, and people don't usually cover the negatives of that
Yeah.
place. And just like us, I'm sure after 6 months, a year, we'll start seeing negative things that we
negatives,
might mention, right? But right now we don't see it. But another thing we don't see here is all the stray dogs. But back to Dumaguete, a lot of people go there because there are so many vloggers talking about Dumaguete and they kind of feel at home, feel comfortable there. Now there is the factor that there's a lot of expats there, so that might help someone who's never traveled a lot to go there. But I would say, like, if you're a single guy, you haven't met anybody and you're looking to meet someone, Dumaguete is probably the worst place. Now, I did meet you there, but that was a different time, right? Probably the worst place because the ratio of expats
To
Filipinas is very high compared to anywhere else. And a lot of these Filipinas have dated several foreigners,
Yeah.
become westernized. You'll see more and more tatted up women there. You know, some of them being ran through by several foreigners. And it's kind of embarrassing. You're sitting there with a girl, then foreigner comes in and it's like, oh, I dated her already. You know, it's like, oh shit, it's okay. You know. But anyway, those are kind of the negatives and the positives of where we're moving. The other thing that I like here, we've looked into schools. We found one school that is all in English.
Yeah, but
nursing.
we didn't go there yet.
No, but we've looked into it. We've messaged them and everything.
Uh-huh.
It's a private school, and the price wasn't that bad. And you researched it, and you said it's a good school, right, for nursing?
I asked somebody who's studying here,
Yeah.
also my previous classmate, and she's studying here in Bacolod.
Yeah.
And she recommended me to
That
another
school?
school.
That school, a different school?
A different school than she was in.
Oh,
She said it's much better there.
that's the one we researched?
Yeah.
Okay. We don't want to mention the schools and everything yet because it's not a certainty that she'll go to that school and we might not end up here. So we don't want to mention any of that. But anyway, yeah, we looked into schools. The other thing, rentals here are so much cheaper. Tomorrow we're actually going to go see a house. We're not going to rent it yet because for the next 4 months we'll be traveling, but we wanted to get an idea of the house. I mean, we've seen the picture on Facebook. It looks fantastic. It's a 3-bedroom, 3-bath. It's in a subdivision. It's got a nice yard from what I could tell. Beautiful. And it was only $35,000. I couldn't believe
how
it.
cheap it is.
I mean, something like that in the Duma area would be 55, maybe 60, and Valencia for sure 65.
Yeah.
So cheaper rental. The electrical buses with aircon here are 15 pesos. We're still trying to understand the routes and all that, but they go all the time. 15 pesos. The Grab is cheap. We've never paid over 150 pesos, which is $2.50, maybe, less than. And of course, there's more variety of fruits here. We went to Landers and S&R, and they have all the frozen fruit, the frozen blueberries, frozen cherries, raspberries, I mean. A lot of frozen fruits. It's not, don't get me wrong, it's not like being in Spain or
US
Saudi or
or
something with all the different ones, but it has more than the Dumaguete area. So we've been happy with what we've seen so far. We really have. So this is on the top of our list, but we'll be making a decision by April, and then
Is it this April now?
yeah, this
Okay.
April or May. No, sorry, by May we'll be making a final decision.
Okay.
So with that, is there anything else you want to add?
No, nothing else.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay, so with that, I'm going to say thank you for watching to the end. If you've made it to the end, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Sharing is good, and sharing my videos is the best. Thank you again, and see you in the next one.